let's talk about the heroic trilogy then. We'll just briefly list the titles: Valley of Red Shadows, which is the hero. Then there's the Super Seven, the anti-hero, and then the Edge of the Show, the superhero. We'll talk about Valley of Red Shadows, a title of which you have admitted that you hated.
I don't like the end of the book, and I don't like the title, but they serve and they're good for the thing. With like we were just mentioning Bergman. I'm not a fan of Bergman emotionally, his stuff, but I'd have to admit he's a great artist, and what works, whether I like it or not, even my own stuff.
You once wrote in a review of Shea the idea of mythic realism, and this is sort of what I got from Valley of Red Shadows. I don't want to go into detail with this book unless you want to recapitulate sections of it, but just basically speaking about some of the things involved. I mean, this is a Western in which all of a sudden animals can talk and they have great philosophical discussions. I want you to talk about that, kind of creating that landscape that they have. It reminds me of a Sergio Leone film, but for literature and not for film.
Well, I don't think there's any section where the animals talk other than in the myths that the people are talking, the stories that they're telling themselves. Basically, it's a story about a guy named Elias Walker, and this Walker was first mentioned in A Norwegian in the Family in the backstory of the super spy character who's the hero of the second book. And so they're related to the George Bush clan, the Bush Walker clan, who produced 2 presidents here in the United States. And it's a mythic. It's not. They're not real ancestors, but they're vaguely related to the ancestors of them. So anyway, so this guy is basically a guy who loses his job on a ranch. He goes wandering around Texas of 1850, just a few years as a state of the United States. He goes to the Gulf of Mexico. There he meets the legendary Pecos Bill. We don't really see Pecos Bill there. We just hear stories of what he did with Pecos Bill on a trawler or something, getting shrimp. By the time he gets back to shore, Pecos Bill has left, and apparently Pecos Bill is always a couple of steps ahead of Elias Walker, sort of brooding the legend of Elias Walker, so that wherever Walker goes, there seems to be someone who has heard of him and positive things of him. And of all the characters I've ever written, this Elias Walker, the first Elias Walker, seems to just stumble into success of some sort. He meets people along the way. He gets offered a job to track down this young girl who is actually, in A Norwegian in the Family, the old woman who is the torment of the young Paulie Maravelli. And as this young girl, she has been captured by Indians, which is a hearkening back to the story of Quanah Parker, the Indian chief in Texas. I forget which band. His mother, I forget her name, Ann Parker, was it maybe, had been captured and spent like 10 or 12 years, was raped by the Indians and gave birth to Quanah Parker. So that sets the temple. That goes, there was a famous poem cycle by John G. Neihart, an American poet from Nebraska, about that. And so
Blackout Speaks, or is that his?
Yeah, Blackout Speaks, John G. Neihart. And basically the story has them traipsing about Texas. It's sort of a mythic Texas of 1850. There are place names that are no longer. They go through places that seem to be kind of mythic. They go through. They meet a town where there's nothing but women, a bunch of Amazons, and then just as they're about to give up, the young girl just happens to just run into their camp. They collect the money. They have a series of run-ins with bad guys. A few of their members get killed off. There's a black guy. There's a cook who's an antecedent character of a cranky character from some short stories that I had done, and so it's basically like you said, Leone-esque in a sense, but